Can you please mute yourself?
Excuse me, Aniket. Students, mute your mics, please. Okay, Aniket, please continue.
First of all, thank you very much, ma'am, to all the staff. I'm really grateful to give me such opportunity where I can guide our students, my friends, regarding the career path, that how one should choose his career, how one should develop his skills and enhance himself to be a right candidate to fit in the different organizations that he is or she is willing to go in. So pardon me if something goes wrong, because I am also a student like you guys. So I'll just try to elaborate as much as possible, and as much as knowledge I've gained throughout my career, I'll just try to portray you within this hour of session. So firstly, let me introduce myself. Hello everyone, I'm Aniket Palve. I'm currently working as a tech lead product architect in Evolutions India Private Limited, which is located at Bangalore. So I've started my journey from Ahmednagar only, and with a company called as CTRLS, where I used to work as a PHP developer. Then I've got an opportunity in Bangalore as a software developer. I've started my career in Bangalore as a PHP developer, and from there I've shifted myself as a JavaScript developer. From the JavaScript developer, I've shifted my career part to the full stack developer, and from the full stack developer, now I'm being as a I'm landed up as a product architect, tech lead product architect. So how these career paths have changed, how I have gotten opportunities, and how well I have learned all these technologies to make myself to fit in the organization for the position that I'm working in currently. So it was a bit challenging step, I must say, because the career of IT is not like a career of government jobs where you'll sit idle and do the repetitive work. It's not the same thing. So basically the career of IT, where you need to continuously learn, you can continuously grow in your career. You need to keep on updated of latest trends in the market, latest technologies, tech stacks. There is a lot of tech stacks that you need to learn, understand. And to start with that, to start with the learning process, the first thing you do is you go to the college. So college is the most important thing, I believe, because the most of the stuff that you are going to do in your career that you learn definitely in your college days only. As to frankly speaking, I was an average student like you guys only. I was not at all a brilliant or very studious student, but somehow I managed to do my curriculums very well, and that actually gave me a very good advantage for building my basics. So why there is a need of basics? So if you take an example of any programming language or any networking instruments that you have to work on, you need a basics for that. So you need to know what is routing, what is object-oriented programming, how the IP address works, how the communication over the internet happens. All these things you need to have a knowledge of, and then only you can land up with a good job and with a good salary too. So there is no such thing as a good job or a big company or small scale company or a good package in IT world, but I believe that there is only one thing in IT, that the job you are looking for, it must give you something back with which you can learn a lot, with which you can enhance your skills, with which you'll definitely try to learn as much as you can, and that's what the IT means. So frankly speaking, when I started my career, I didn't have any knowledge out of it. Means I was only a student who had completed his degree as a master's, and I was looking for a job, and I was clueless about what different technologies are there available in the market that I need to learn and enhance my skills. And with the guidance of Poddar ma'am, Nimbalkar sir, and all the teacher staffs of the IBM RD, I have understood that only learning through the textbooks and only learning through the languages that we have been taught in the colleges is not enough. But yeah, that is required for sure, because it's a base for everything, but that is not enough, because the market is changing drastically, as you might have seen. Previously in a last decade, JavaScript was only a scripting technology, which was being highly used to only modify the web pages, or to design a web pages dynamically, or to add a brilliance to the web pages. But nowadays, JavaScript has grown so much that it is the only technology that can be used in the blockchain, and blockchain is an upcoming beautiful concept that going to drive the world in next 20 years, and that's for sure, I believe it. So so let's start with, why do we need to go in IT? So, and how do we land up in IT? As you all are students of MCA, so you're all going to be in IT only, computer, because you all relate to the computer fields. But IT is not limited to the computers only, but IT comes with a lot of tech stacks. For an example, there is a company called as TCL. It's a same company as a TCS, which works in a communication networks. And so you might have studied a networking chapter in your colleges, and that networking chapter is also nothing but a basics for the all the communication devices that we use nowadays. Means we use the internet. On the internet, we use multiple protocols, HTTP protocols, we use FTP protocols, we use to send the files. So all these protocols, everything, and each and every part that you learn in the college is definitely required to land up with a good career, and it's a must need to get a good job as a software developer, or you can say as a database administrator, or database analytics. Means wherever you want to go, you have to your basics strong, and you have to make it as much as possible. You have sorry, someone is saying is not able to hear. Am I audible?
Yes, Aniket, you are audible.
Aniket, you are audible. You have a slide to share, Aniket?
Yes, definitely. I'll go with that.
Okay.
So many of you might have fear in your mind that what should be the learning curve that I should take, and how should I learn the new tech subs, and how well I can develop myself in a different tech stacks or different languages. So I believe we have a lot of we have Google, we have instruments with which we can store the syntaxes and all the stuff. So I don't really think that one should only rely on learning the syntax, but apart from that, you must be able to understand the requirements that you're receiving for product development, software development, and you need to have a strong fundamentals of a computer principles. You need to have strong fundamentals to develop any software, because you cannot think about software as a small scale entity. Software can grow enormously. So to understand how the languages works, you need to have a proper understanding of how strings work, how data type works in the languages, and all that you learn only and only in colleges. Why I'm focusing only colleges? Because in the college time, you get a full guidance of the teachers. They take you from the basics. Means they teach you from zero to hero. So zero to hero is a simple term in IT world. Means so if you go on a YouTube and if you search for some skills, you'll definitely land up seeing some videos from scratch course from zero to hero in this language, in that language. So I believe it is definitely required to be focused in your college life, and to read the books. Means when I was in the college, that time I used to think that okay, why I'm learning this computer fundamentals if I want to go into development. But that is not the case. If you want to go into development, you need to have knowledge of computer fundamentals as well, networking as well, because that comes into the picture when you go as a web developer. So I'll share the slide and start with the recent trends in IT. But before that, I'll explain you what IT means exactly, because a lot of people have confusion in my means a lot of new people that are coming into the IT have that confusion in their mind, that what is IT and how we should choose a career path in IT, and what skills we need to have to get into an IT field. So I'll share my screen and I'll start with the PPT. So recent trends in IT. Before that, I want to tell what exactly is IT. So let's talk about it first. So let's talk about it first means let's talk about IT first. So what is IT? So information technology is a career path actually which involves computers, storage devices, networking, and instruments that can be used to exchange electronic data. Now, storage devices means hard disk that we use to hard disk, pen drives that we use to store some kind of data, computers that we use to communicate, means that we use to serve the internet or to do the software programming to use to see the videos and to download the stuff that we want. And what is networking? So networking is basically a concept. Just take an example: client and server communication. So how the client and server communication gets established? So it gets established due to some kind of ports. So IP addresses. Whenever you connect with the one IP address, you establish a connection. So nowadays, many of you go to facebook.com, instagram.com, twitter.com, and post your stories, videos, give your life updates there. So how do we get connected to the this website? So there is a thing we know we enter in a URL address that http.facebook.www.facebook.com. So that facebook.com is nothing but a name that has been given to a particular IP address with which we can look up for the website. So always we establish a connection through the IP addresses or through the domain namespaces, and that is nothing but a network, and that is nothing but we call as networking. And what we do over the internet, we exchange the data. So we exchange the data in the electronic forms. We don't send the letters to anyone. We don't send any kind of documents to anybody. But we send the letters to we send the messages. We communicate over the web through the video, through the audio calls, or through the text messages that we send using WhatsApp or any other devices. So what's that? So that is nothing but exchange of information in electronic forms, and that's what the IT means. So this is a part of IT world where these computers, storage devices, networking, and all things are involved. So in simple terms, anything which involves computers and process related to exchange of information by means of electronic devices is actually an IT field. So next thing is, is IT really going to be an awesome career? So does it really going to be awesome? You can take it as, does it really going to be awesome? Or you can take it as, does information technology really going to be awesome? And to answer to that question is, just take an example from last 2 decades. Our generation has seen a lot of changes, a lot of revolutions in the mobile industry. Means we have been exposed to the mobile, the very famous mobile called as Nokia 3310, a durable phone that we had in early 2000. And nowadays we are using the smartphones like iPhones. You people might have using, or Android phones, and a lot more, Microsoft. So everybody hasn't come up with the phone. So what is this? So this is the evolution in IT world that has been changing the way we communicate. Means previously we had dial-up phones, what we call that, telephones, from which we used to enter a number and we used to call a person, but we was not able to take that phone with us everywhere we go. But now we have mobile in our hand. We can keep it in our pocket. All the notifications that we want to get, we can get it instantly on a mobile, be it a transactional notification or be it a WhatsApp notification, whatever it is. So that's the power of IT, and till now that has been the awesomeness of IT, which actually changed the world, the way we communicate with the people. So till now it has been an amazing journey in the IT field, in the IT industry, that we have changed such revolutionary things. We have seen WhatsApp, we have seen Facebook, we have seen Instagram. So a lot of new trends have been introduced from the IT. So I believe it is going to be a definitely awesome thing and awesome career in the IT industry, as there will be a lot of challenges stuff that you're going to face as an IT person, to introduce to the world, to make the life easier of the other people. So so big answer to the, if IT is going to be an awesome thing or awesome career in the future, a big yes for that. Definitely it is going to be an awesome career, because there will be there is a lot of new technologies, lot of new trends that are going to be in the market in a near future, like data mining, Metaverse, Web 3.0, Metaverse. You might have heard, some of you might have heard, Facebook recently changed its name as a Meta. So Metaverse is a different concept which involves interaction of people in a 3D virtual world, where you can buy lands, where you can organize music concerts, and a lot of stuff you can do online. So yes, it is emerging, and it is emerging expansionally. Means it's the IT is the only thing which gonna rule the next decade, and that's for sure. So whenever we always we hear a word in information technology at trends. So is there a thing called trends? Yes, definitely. So take an example in early 90s, when our teachers or our parents, or when we were youngsters, when they were youngsters, we used to see nowadays we see their pictures having a hippie haircuts and bell-bottom pants and a lot of different stuff they're wearing, because that was their trend. The trend was that in that time. But now the trend has been changed, and now people are keeping the small haircuts, curly hairs. They are keeping pencil cut pants. Everyone wants to wear jeans and all. A lot of changes has been done in the last 2 decades in a fashion industry. Similar way, there's a lot changes has been introduced in the IT world as well. Means initially when the internet was evolved, Tim Berners-Lee came up with the Web 1.0. So Web 1.0, what was Web 1.0? So Web 1.0 was static websites where only one-way communication used to happen. Means all the website used to come in a single form where only static data was available over the website, which user used to go and read. But there was no two-way communication. There was no input elements over the web page where you can enter you can give a feedbacks. But that era completely changed when the Facebook came into the market. So it became a two-way communication where users will push data on the platform, and other users will read out that data. So with the trend, a lot of new gig giants has been evolved: Google, Facebook, Instagram. So all these new giants made use of these technologies very well, and they emerged from zero to hero within a few years of time. And why? What is the reason for their the large growth of this organization? Is just because they proposed a two-way communication over the web, and that was a trend. People wanted to talk with their friends. People wanted to share their daily life updates to the people. And in the early stage, in the early era, there was no single platform with which we can do all this stuff. This got changed when the Web 2.0 got introduced. So with the trend, companies also have evolved, and things also changed. People's life also has changed drastically. For an example, in early 90s, if you want to communicate with some person, we had to send a mail. We had to send him postcards and all, and it used to take a lot of time until the information reaches to that person. But nowadays, on a single click, we can send whatever we want to send using the mails, WhatsApp, and a lot of steps. So is there a thing called as trends? Yes, it is. So what are these trends? So trends is nothing but a new things that are going to come into the market, and that is going to rule the new world, that is going to shape up the world that we live in today. And that's what I call as trends. So is there a thing called as trends? Yes, definitely there is a thing called as trends in the future, in information technology, which gonna shape up the world. So what are the trends? What are these trends? So there is a lot of trends that have been introduced to the world in the early 2020 or 2019. You might have all familiar with the Facebook's name change from Meta for Facebook to the Metaverse. So it completely runs over the Web 3.0. So what is Web 3.0? So Web 3.0 is a next generation or next iteration of internet that focuses on decentralization. Now, till now we have seen Web 2.0 where all the users will be considered as a client, and there will be one server from where all the data will be processed and given as an information to the people that are trying to access the data. So that was the world that we have seen till now, was a Web 2.0. But with the trends, things are changing. Even the big giants have realized that Web 3.0 is going to be the next technology which is going to rule the market. And what is basically Web 3.0? So how many of you use torrents to download the things that you want? Can anybody tell how many of you use the torrents? Okay, so let me explain. So there is a website, there are different websites. Actually, you don't go on that website, as government of India has banned that website. So, but still I'll explain. There are a lot of many
download for movies.
Yeah, download for movies. So how do you download the movies on torrent? You get a magnet link that
Yes.
Yeah. So have you seen how the torrent downloads the movie? There definitely you will see it seeding, correct? Peer networks, definitely this kind of things you will see. So what is this? So torrent is basically a platform based on the peer-to-peer network. So what is peer-to-peer network? Peer-to-peer network is one-to-one communication. Means if I'm having some data in my laptop, and if I want to share that data with you, you will be directly connected with my laptop through some network devices, and that is nothing but in a simple terms, peer-to-peer communication. So Web 3.0 is purely based on peer-to-peer communication system. So where the major focus of the Web 3.0 or the internet world is on decentralizing the network. So what is mean by decentralizing the network? Decentralization, just take an example. Whenever we go over a website, there are some servers which process our request and gives us the response. But we are only having a one server to communicate with. Take an example of Facebook. When we do a facebook.com, there might be having a different servers of Facebook which will combine it as a one and will process the data and give us back feedback. But in decentralized network, there will be no such thing. There will be no single server, nothing will be there. Everyone will be connected with a peer-to-peer network to directly each other. And establishing the peer-to-peer network actually has an advantage over the Web 2.0, as in a single point of time, if the single server fails, all the communication will go down. Means you might have seen sometimes Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram gets down, and you just restart your mobile phones. You just see is there any problem in your mobile phone? But basically, the problem is with the servers. They might have started working on the servers. They might have started updating their servers, and because of that thing, sometimes we don't get access to the servers. So in a decentralized network, this cannot happen because nothing is stored on central servers. Everything is distributed among the different servers, different peer-to-peer communication nodes, and from there we will access all the information that we want to get. So Web 2.0 is like having a private application and private database. Means so for an example, take an example. You make your personal website where you receive a feedback from the people about yourself, about your profile, and that you store in some certain database. But who owns the database? Who owns that website? You yourself own that website. You yourself own that database. Correct. But Web 3.0 is totally different. So when you are establishing a communication with me, when I am giving you feedback over your platform, the communication only and only will happen between you and me, and the data that will be getting stored will be stored as in form of block, and whenever the next user comes to the platform and tries to communicate with you through your website, another block will be formed, and that way the chain of blocks will be made, and that we call as a blockchain. So blockchain is basically a concept which I'm going to come next to the blockchain only. But blockchain is a foundational technology that is going to drive the Web 3.0. So, so take an example how the Web 3.0 is. When you are building an application over Web 3.0, you don't build it for a specific server. So you directly build your application on a shared supercomputer, which are being used by the millions and millions of users simultaneously. So you all the world is going to work on one supercomputer, which will be shared among all the users over the world. So that's how the basically Web 3.0 is. The major difference between Web 2.3 is Web 2 was strictly focused over one single server, and as these big giants like Facebook, Google, YouTube has grown, they have established their monopoly in Web 2.0. Because what do you think? Whenever we search something over Google, or whenever we upload any post over Facebook, where this data gets stored? So this data gets stored in their own servers, and who controls the data? Only these giant companies who are well established in the market. They are right now they are controlling our data. Means definitely you may say that Facebook, Instagram, and is private, is all public, and we can use as per our needs. If you want to post if you want to post some updates of my life, I can do it easily. And that too, they say that everything is encrypted, and the data that you're sharing on a Facebook, it's owned by you. But it's not the case. For take an example, when you search something over Amazon, you'll start definitely getting an ads over the Google related to the product that you were searching on Amazon. So how Google got to know about the product that have been searching on Amazon? How different companies got to know about the searches that have been that I've been doing on Amazon? So they are obviously sharing the data in between. So we don't have control over who can share our data and how the data can be controlled. It can be because it might be possible that I'm chatting with my friend and there is some private message that I'm sending to him, and who have access to that messages? I don't have that access directly to that messages, because yeah, I do see the messages, but where all these messages got stored? So in a centralized database. And who owns that centralized database? Nothing but these big giant companies, of which I'm using the platform. So Web 3.0 definitely basically focuses on these aspects, that your data will be owned by you, and complete privacy will be maintained as data goes in a block. All the data that we share over the Web3 gets encrypted with the toughest algorithms in the world that I don't think one can able to crack that. Because even if somebody wants to crack that data, what has been written from one person to another person, it is not possible, because whenever you try to make a change to the data, a new hash key gets generated, and the hash key and all these concepts, I'll talk about it later. But just take an example that your data gets encoded, and whenever someone tries to manipulate it, new encoding gets generated for the altered data. So in that way, you'll be able to differentiate what was the transaction you have done and what was the changes that you have received in the transaction. So another key point of Web 3.0 is trustlessness. As whatever the application we deploy over the Web3 are immutable. So what is immutable? Means the code of the application is immutable. So immutable is whenever you deploy certain applications over Web3, so no one, not even the owner of that application, can change or modify that applications, because it runs on a decentralized networks. And once user deploys the application over Web3, it gets readily available for all the people that are using the Web 3.0 technology. But yeah, still it is not yet fully grown. It is going to be a next generation in the market, but yeah, it is a must-have technology or must-have trends that one should be familiar with. The application. So now the thing comes in, means whenever we develop an application for Web 2.0, we call it a simple application. But in the Web 3.0, whatever the application we develop, we call as dApps. So dApps is nothing but decentralized applications. Decentralized is the main concept, and only the word that is going to drive the next generation, because nowadays people have concerns over their data privacy, over the privacy policies. If you are familiar with the recent changes, Facebook has WhatsApp has introduced a new policy in just few days back, where people were arguing whether we should use a WhatsApp or not. And that time, I guess Mark Zuckerberg also tweeted with some alternative to the WhatsApp. So why what's that? Why this privacy concern? Why this privacy we need to accept? So as we are using the platforms of a different organizations over the Web 2.0, they have their own set of rules which we need to obey, and we need to function in that that set of rules only. So that set of rules can contain that your data, what you are entering over the website or over the platform, can be owned by the company which providing you the platform to for users. So this thing is going to completely change in the Web 3.0, because no one will have control over the internet, or no one will have control over the web. Whatever we upload, whatever we exchange over the Web 3.0 will be completely owned by us. Because for each transaction, there will be a hash key generated and data will be encrypted, so that no one will have access, means no third person will have access to the data which we are sharing between the two entities or two individuals. So this is nothing but a Web 3.0. And so whenever I hear Web 3.0, the first thing comes in my mind: what are the technologies that I require or that I must have to be a Web 3.0 developer? So Web 3.0 basically requires a TypeScript, JavaScript, React.js, Next.js, and computer fundamental is a must, because it is a communication over internet as a peer-to-peer networks. So for that, you'll definitely have a need to have an understanding of peer-to-peer networks and how this peer-to-peer networks works or shares the information in between. So TypeScript, as I've told earlier, that earlier days JavaScript was only a form where we used to JavaScript only to give a brilliance to the websites. Means in a website designing, we need a HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript. But in earlier days, we used to think about JavaScript as only a scripting language which can give a brilliance to the input elements. Means on double click, I want to do a certain action, I'll have to use JavaScript or jQuery. But nowadays, these things have completely changed with the new frameworks or new technologies that have built over the JavaScript, like TypeScript. TypeScript is a superscript of JavaScript, and over the TypeScript, there is a lot many frameworks that has been introduced to the world by the big giant companies like React.js, Next.js, and all these different scripting languages or different scripting frameworks completely change the way that we used to see the JavaScript in earlier days. So JavaScript or TypeScript is a must-have skill for any person who wants to become a Web3 developer. So what are the career scopes in a web developer? So career scope in a Web 3.0 are like front-end engineer. You can be a front-end engineer or a JavaScript developer or a data scientist, Python developer or a Java developer. So data scientist. Why data scientist? So there is a need of data scientists from early 2000, because as the internet grown exponentially, there was a tremendous data that got generated, and there was a need of experts who can crawl through that data, who can find out the meaningful information out of it, because data is nothing but a raw chunks which we need to process to get the particular information. So there was a need of data scientists that has been emerged in the late 2000s, and that is still going to be needed in the upcoming future for Web 3.0, because as the Web 3.0 grows, definitely the number of people that are using the internet will grow, and the way we communicate over the internet, that thing also will be completely changed. So with that said, it requires a knowledge of different encryption algorithms or cryptography. So cryptography or encryption is nothing but a technology with which we can encrypt the data that we are sending to the user. So there are different kind of encryption technologies, that is symmetric algorithms or non-symmetric algorithms. So you might have familiar that over the web. If you want to surf through the website, you will definitely call that website with the HTTPS protocol. So this HTTPS protocol is nothing but a asymmetric cryptography. Is a type of asymmetric cryptography where one public key and private key will be there, with which data will be encrypted, while the rest in the sense, when I'm typing something or when I'm sending some information to the server, my data gets encrypted with some sort of algorithms, and that we call as asymmetric algorithms, where my private key, my public key will encrypt the data, and the second user's public key will decrypt that data. So that's how it works in a when we are doing the web surfing, and that has been done with the HTTPS protocol. So, and after that, we must have knowledge of basics of object-oriented programming language, because for any language in the world, object-oriented is the base, and Web 3.0 is gonna be a Web 3.0 to develop applications on Web 3.0. There has been a lot of new languages that has emerged, like Solidity. For Solidity, we require we definitely have an understanding of object-oriented languages. So means when we teach C, when we learn C, C++, Java in our college days, that time we think like these languages are outdated and no one is using these languages nowadays, but that's not the case. That language are languages are needed till now, and one should have one should have understanding of this knowledge, is definitely for sure, because this is the base that are the base languages which gonna give you more and more advantage and more understanding over how the object-oriented concepts work, and it's gonna help you to learn the different languages that are going to drive the world, like Solidity. So that was all about the Web 3.0 and the career scope, or the learning path, how one should take up, or how one should start building his career as a Web 3.0 developer. So now the next thing is, the next recent thing that is going to drive the market, or that is currently in the market, is blockchain. So many of you might have heard of Bitcoins. So what is Bitcoin? Can anybody explain what is Bitcoin? What means, if any one of you know how the Bitcoin works, or what is the Bitcoin exactly? Can anybody explain?
Cryptocurrency.
Okay, but
Bitcoin
what is
online currency, online digital currency.
Okay, how does it work? If you have any bit of idea, how does it work?
Using blockchain technology.
Okay,
or
but
mining.
Or
mining.
Okay.
To do transactions.
Okay. So what is this blockchain? So blockchain is nothing but it is a distributed database that is being shared among the nodes of a computer network. So nodes of a computer network means every computer will be considered as a node, where all this data will be shared, and the distributed database is nothing but a database which will not be stored on one particular server, which will be distributed among multiple nodes. So blockchain actually maintains these transactions or records in a decentralized fashion, where the transactions between the users are noted over the decentralized ledger. So as you can see on the screen, there is a short note I have been given there. Distributed ledger technology, where the transaction will be recorded by interconnected individual nodes called as blocks. So this distributed ledger is nothing but there will be one set of ledger where all the transaction will be recorded with a hash and with the signature of the person who is making a transaction over the web. And that's how the base principle, that's how the blockchain works. That's the basic principle for the blockchain, or the basic principle for the Bitcoins. So take an example. If you want to do a money transfer to a person, how do we do it? We send a money to the person directly, but in between, banks play the role. Bank is responsible for debiting our account and creating the account for whom we are making a transaction for. But in a blockchain, it doesn't happen that way. Whatever the transaction we make, it gets recorded directly on a decentralized ledger, and money gets transferred to the person that we are trying to transfer for. So that's how the blockchain technology works. So consider blockchain technology blockchain technology as a computer node and store data with the encryption and hash of a user, which results in a secure data stream. As data is stored on multiple nodes, so it becomes really hard to hack or alter it by any of the user in the chain, because as soon as user tries to change or modifies the existing data, the new hash gets generated. For an example, if I'm sending you, I'm sharing some information with you, that information will, as soon as I enter some information, I click on send button, that information will get recorded in blockchain ledger as in one block. And whatever the next information I'll send to you, that will be recorded as in a separate block. And these all blocks will be chained together. And that's how the blockchain forms. So if I want to, and all these blockchains will be shared among all the users that are using the network. So for example, I'm sharing your information, definitely all the information will be shared with you as well as me. So in that way, it will be not possible for any person to manipulate that data or to manipulate that block of information, because as soon as it tries to manipulate the information, the new block gets generated. And by distinguishing between the two different blocks, you can easily find out that where the information got altered. So that's how the blockchain technology is, and that's how the blockchain technology works. As a blockchain technology is a decentralized architectures, so no single entity or person will have ownership of the ownership of your data. So the benefit of that is there will be no single entity governing the data that we are sharing over the web, and this blockchain and Web3 is nothing but interconnected. So blockchain and DLT is nothing but a base to the Web 3.0 on which the Web 3.0 has been built. So whatever the transaction we do are only peer-to-peer. No one single entity is monitoring the transaction that we are doing over the blockchain or Web3 technologies. So what are the different career opportunities of blockchain? So blockchain, it's an emerging trend in the market. So there is definitely a lot of career opportunities as in blockchain developer or blockchain solution architect or administrator. So all these roles are readily available in the market. And what these careers are. So blockchain developer is nothing but a person who actually develops the application in blockchain fashion. So the person who is having the knowledge of blockchain, how the blockchain technology works, or how the two nodes gets connected, how the information exchange happens, this person can go for such jobs as in blockchain developers. And it requires programming languages such as C++, Python, or JavaScript. So you see JavaScript is everywhere. Wherever you go, JavaScript will be there for sure, because it is changing the world, and JavaScript is the only thing that is going to drive the market now. So, and what is blockchain solution architect? So as we know, you might have seen SAP consultants. Why do we need a SAP consultants? Because all the companies in the world or all the peoples in the world don't have the knowledge of how SAP software works. So there is a need of SAP solution architect, or you might see AWS solution architect. So they are nothing but a person who gives you information over how these technologies work and how well you can use this technology to build your own applications. So same way, there will be a blockchain architect, blockchain solution architect requirement will be there in the future to guide the different individual organizations to how to use the blockchain to solve their existing problems and how to make their application more and more secure. So the next emerging trend in the market is machine learning. So most of the I guess everybody present here in the session today might be familiar with the artificial intelligence or machine learning, because we use it every day. If people are using an iPhone, they might have used Siri sometime. Google voice assistant people might have used. You might be familiar with the Amazon Alexa provided by Amazon. So these are nothing but artificial intelligence, which actually listens the human inputs and process the input and gives the output. If you ask an Alexa, can you open a Netflix for me? It will definitely open a Netflix application for you, and whatever the movie name you want to play, you just have to say it and Alexa will start playing it. So what's this means, how Alexa understands this languages. So this comes as a part of machine learning, where or artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is nothing but a sub branch of machine learning. So what exactly is machine learning? So machine learning is basically a subset of artificial intelligence. Is basically a software program which focuses on learning by itself to analyze or predict human behavior or human language. Means we create the software entities which can train by itself by understanding the human inputs and by giving some label inputs to train the model itself, to train their existing models. So that is nothing but a machine learning. So in layman's term, consider you are playing a basketball and trying to throw a ball inside a net. So what you will do? First attempt you might fail because you might have put too much pressure while throwing a ball. In a second attempt also, you're not able to make a goal because you applied a very low pressure over the ball, so you're not able to make a goal. But by analyzing the previous two activities, what you'll do, you'll try to apply minimal force with which you can make a goal, throw a ball in a basket, and you can make a goal. So that's how the machine learning works. Whenever you create a machine learning software based on machine learnings, that software will continuously train or learn by itself by the information that has been provided previously, and then it will try to predict the outcome of the next thing. So machine learning softwares are nothing but a predictionary system. So take an example, we get a weather forecast daily. So there will be a 30 degrees Celsius cold environment, will too much cold will be there in Ahmednagar or some sort of stuff. But how this prediction happens? So these predictions happen on the data that has been there with the government organizations, and that has been given to the machine learning to train to predict the outcomes of the next thing. Okay, so machine learning software are basically a predictionary system which can give you the outcome which can predict the things based on the previous data it has been trained with. So so take an example, if you're buying a laptop on Amazon, so what you do, you go on Amazon, you search for a laptop, you buy it, and right as soon as you buy a laptop, you start getting ads related to the mouse or headphones or any peripheral devices that can be used with your laptops. So how that works? So Amazon has made some software system that can analyze your behavior or the platform or your purchasing order on the platform, and by analyzing that results, they can predict what can be more useful with you, more useful to you with the product that you're buying from the Amazon. So that is nothing but the part of machine learning, and which is definitely going to be a next time, because as we have seen now, Alexa, Siri, and all this, they are interacting with us like a human beings. So definitely to train them, we need technologies that are very well trained or very well knowledge in the machine learning sector, so that they can make a predictionary system to make the what we call users interaction over the web, a smooth interaction over the web for the users. And so there are two types of machine learning actually. One is supervised machine learning and one is unsupervised machine learning. So this terms is actually nothing but in a supervised machine learning model, we train the model with the label data set. So label data sets is nothing but, take an example, if you want to train a model to distinguish between a gender of a person. So what you'll do, you'll train a model with the existing data by labeling. For an example, if my name is Aniket, I'll put a label as a male, or if any female name is there, then we will label it as a female, and that's how we will train the model to distinguish between the male and female by looking for the name. And whenever you go and add some data to the model, and if you want to predict whether the person is male or female, definitely that model will give you the accurate results based on the previous previous data sets that has been used to train the models. With the help of training data sets, model will try to predict the accurate results for you. And there is a second type as unsupervised learning. In an unsupervised learning fashion, actually, we don't require proper data sets to train the model. So model itself crawls through data and it tries to label the data by itself, and it tries to predict what this data is, what type of a group of this data is having. So so for an example, if you are feeding a tons of data in unsupervised machine learning algorithm, we might add some name of some animals, people, and some organization, government entities, organizations. So machine learning algorithm itself will try to label that data and group that data in different types of entities. For an example, all the animals will be labeled as animals. So that's how the unsupervised learning algorithms works in a machine learning. So what are the tech stacks required for the machine learning? Is nothing but a Python. So Python, I guess, it's there for you in a last semester. And Python is a must-have language for machine learning because it's easy to use, and Python is a language where you'll find a lot of libraries. So Python is completely built on libraries. So where you'll find a very useful libraries that can be used for machine learning. After that, there is a programming called as R. R is a language which can be used for machine learning. And also for that, you require a knowledge of computer science or computer fundamentals. After that, you require a knowledge of data modeling. So why do you require a knowledge of data modeling? Because to train a model, you need a training data sets, and to create the training data sets, you must have a knowledge of data modeling, how the data works, or you'll require natural language processing. So these are nothing but vast terms which actually tells you how the data should be and how the data should be created to train the model, how data should be labeled, or how to identify the noun, pronouns, and all the stuff in the raw data that you are passing. Or data is nothing but anything that you are passing as an input to the machine learning models. And what are the different opportunities in machine learning? So there are a lot of emerging opportunities, and not even emerging, there are a lot of opportunities are there in the market for the machine learning enthusiasts like data science, NLP scientists, business intelligence developers, or software developers. So yeah, there is a lot available in the market, and there is a lot to learn about the machine learning as well. Means till now, as far as I know, I have just know only 1% of machine learning, but it's completely a different world where I also have to have more understanding over the concepts, and I need to learn more as much as I can, because it's not a thing that you can understand and learn in one day. You requires huge amount of learning and huge amount of perseverance to understand the things. Understand how the machine learning basically works and all the steps. So next trend. So it's not an emerging trend, but still I believe that it is still going to be there for at least next 1 or 2 decades in the market, which is cloud computing. So you might have had a chapter in your BCA or MCA as well about the cloud computing. So what is cloud? Can anybody tell me what is cloud? Hello. Okay, so let me explain. So cloud computing is what?
A virtual place.
Okay, virtual place for what?
Storing
data.
Okay, so cloud is nothing but a virtual space of interconnected computers or interconnected servers, which will serve you the data. And that servers will be stored on different locations. It will not be stored on one single premise. It will be stored on different localities that we call as data centers, and whatever the information we are trying to access from that data servers, that will be accessed from the different localities and given in the form of information. That's how the cloud works. So cloud computing is a general term for anything that involves delivering the hosted services over the internet. So hosted service over the internet, for an example, all the websites, all the software applications that we use through the use over the internet are nothing but hosted services that we acquire through the internet, or that we try to use through the internet. So if you are surfing the Netflix, you are actually going to the netflix.com and you are trying to access the content that is there available on the Netflix. So that's what the hosted services over the internet means. So goal of cloud computing is to provide easy, scalable access to computer resources and IT services. So what is meant by IT services? So there are different types of services that we access over the web. So we can call it, you might have familiar with the terms as IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So SaaS is nothing but a software as a service, PaaS is nothing but a platform as a service, and IaaS is nothing but a infrastructure as a service. So what you mean by infrastructure as a service? Now, as you can see, to deploy a website or to deploy any web application in normal fashion, we require a servers to host the application. So that server is nothing but a infrastructure. And in a cloud environment, we can get that servers on demand. We don't have to own that servers by ourselves. The cloud computing providers, for an example, who are the cloud computing providers nowadays? Amazon Web Services is there, Microsoft Azure is there, Google Cloud is there. So they are responsible for you to provide a infrastructure. So you just have to create your website and deploy on their servers. You don't need to maintain the servers by your own. They will take care of it. They will maintain the servers. You'll only go and deploy your softwares. That's how the infrastructure as service works. Means they will provide you with the infrastructure. All you have to do is just build your applications, build your website, and deploy over their servers. After the thing comes PaaS. So PaaS is nothing but a platform as a service. So what is platform? So there is if you have been familiar with the Amazon, so Amazon Web Services, there is a one feature, one application of Amazon that we can use to deploy and monitor the different servers that has been created to deploy the application, and that we call as Elastic Beanstalk. So Elastic Beanstalk is nothing but a platform as a service. So they are providing a platform. Platform means they are providing the computing networks, or they are providing us the subnets, networking infrastructure to host our application over the server. And software as a service. So software as a service is nothing but, take an example, or Netflix or any website. So, or any web application over the internet is nothing but the software, and that comes into the form of software as a service. So in simple terms, cloud computing means storing and accessing data and programs over the internet instead of your computer's hard disk. So all the programs, all the softwares that has been stored, that will be stored over the distributed network among the different data centers, and you will access that data centers, access that software services through the internet. So this is nothing but a cloud computing. And what are the emerging trends in a cloud? What are the ready jobs available in a cloud computing? Is that you can search for cloud solution architect, cloud developer. So for the cloud developer, you require a knowledge of shell scripting. Some of you might have heard of a shell scripting. So shell scripting is a language with which you can create the servers, create the server communication, or deploy your website directly into the cloud with the help of these languages. And DevOps engineer we require for the cloud computing. So DevOps engineers are nothing but a development plus operations engineer, which actually makes your delivery faster. So what is meant by delivery? Whenever we create an application or we deploy application over a server, it takes a time, because deployment is another part and development is another part. So DevOps engineer are nothing but a intermediary system which will help us to continuously develop and continuously deploy the changes that we are doing of the application over the web. So these are the emerging trends in the market, and emergent tech stacks, or that are the skills that are required to be a profession in cloud computing or Web 3.0 or blockchain or machine learning. So that's what all about the trends in the market, current trends in the market. And yeah, so if you have any questions, you can shoot out. That's totally fine. Hello.
Yes, anyone from a class, anyone want to ask a question, they can ask directly, no issue. You can unmute and you can speak. Anyone? Not a single one having any question. Nil, you can ask. Nil, you can ask.
Yes, sir. I have a question that which field have more importance, like not importance, but have scope, like blockchain or data science?
Okay, so to put it in that way, blockchain is a emerging term, but data science is there in the market. So you cannot say that. We cannot say that whether the data science is going to be the next thing or Web 3.0, because these both are interconnected. To be a Web 3 developer, you need to have understanding of the data management as well. So these both are interconnected terms, and definitely you can make your career as a data scientist, as well as you can make your career in Web 3 as well. But as seeing the opportunity, you will find a lot of opportunities in data science, because in the recent trends, if you have studied the recent market, after the lockdown, there was a huge need of data scientists, because as soon as the lockdown started, the pattern or behavior of a user over the internet has completely changed. For an example, people rather than all the scientists had predicted before the lockdown that the purchasing power of the people will go down as soon as we impose the lockdowns. But the thing changed. Things got changed. Instead of reduction in a purchasing power of a user, the purchasing power of a user has increased, and the purchasing pattern of the user as well as increased. For example, you used to go on Amazon in initial days, and you used to search for headphones, headsets, and mobile phones and all. But in a lockdown period, user has started searching for masks. After that, device that can monitor your hair, monitor your heartbeats and all. So the buying pattern of a user has been completely changed. So there was a need of data scientists to more the system more accurate to predict the data that company has of a previous 90 days. Means previously company used to rely on the data of for the data to train the machine learning models to understand the user pattern from last 10 years, 20 years. But that thing is completely changed in the lockdown period. So the period with which models can be trained is reduced. Rather than training the model with the 10 years data sets, company has started training the model with the data set available within 90 days, because that's the recent thing. And that's how the lockdown has changed the world. Lockdown has changed the market. So yeah, obviously there is a number of job openings as a data scientist. And as you can see, there is a lot many people are also trying to build their career as a data scientist. If you'll find out everywhere, people are talking about the data science. If you go to the kaggle.com, you'll see a lot many people are actually doing really good steps in machine learning side. So there is a website called as kaggle.com. If you want to learn more about the data science, there is a website, or machine learning, there is a website called as Kaggle, which you can refer definitely for learning this stuff.
So, but I saw in previous year, data science was moving around, but now this year, people are talking about NFT and cryptography for share markets and a lot of things. So, yeah, what is the reason that Bitcoins and blockchain become more important for current trend?
Okay. So actually, the to talk about the Bitcoin is not the thing that means any governments in the world. In my understanding, only 40 governments only has legalized the use of cryptography or use of Bitcoins. But Bitcoins and all things are not fully are fully involved till now. But people are talking about DLTs, distributed ledger technologies, or or blockchains, because it is going to be the next thing in the market, because it has very high potentials in changing the world, changing the web that we see today. So I just as I told while explaining the web 3.0, we are moving towards a decentralization, and people are talking about these things because privacy and transparency is the most required thing by the users, and because that is the only reason that people are talking about this Bitcoins and cryptocurrency. And so actually, you might have seen people talking about the Bitcoins, but Bitcoins, they are talking about investments, they are not talking about development. So investment is a different thing and development is a different thing.
So, sir, which programming language will be good for that? Basically, you said that JavaScript will be good for blockchain, but a lot of people using Python. Why?
Okay. So JavaScript will be good for JavaScript. You can use for front-end developments, but definitely I told about the Python as well. Python and R. R programming language is outdated actually nowadays, but definitely if you are having a skill set in Python or R, definitely it will be an add-on to your career. Or as I told earlier, Solidity. So Solidity is also a new language that is there in the market to learn about the blockchains. So if you are aware of Ethereum blockchain, so Solidity is completely based on Ethereum blockchain technology. So there is a Bitcoin, there is a Ethereum blockchain, or there is a Solana. Solana is also there. So these are the different terms, and for that we have Solidity as a language which we can learn and try to develop the Web3 application or blockchain applications.
So, what is the difference between that coins or NFT and token in blockchain?
That means
A lot of people are purchasing tokens, that NFT. And what about Bitcoins? Means, what is the difference between that?
So
Means both are digital encrypted currencies. So
yeah.
there is a different, means a lot of people are saying that that the Bitcoins or NFT is the reason that transaction is going down, or what?
Okay, so I'm not that much familiar with the NFTs actually. So NFT is totally different term, different terms in the sense it comes into the Bitcoin or this the distributed ledger only. But Bitcoin is no, I can't tell you about the NFTs right now. NFT, sorry, I am not having that much knowledge over the NFTs and all. But
No,
yeah,
sorry, sir. Sorry for that question. Basically, I'm interested in blockchain. That's why I'm talking that.
yeah, that's sure. That's cool. If you're asking that question, that's cool. You're interested. I understand that, but definitely you need to learn about it. I'll not be the right person to help you on that.
Sure, sir. Can you some refer me for that?
Okay. Okay, I'll share you some videos that you can go through. There is a complete web development course over Web3 using the blockchain technology. I don't remember the channel name, but definitely I'll share it with you or with the sir, or yeah, or you can tell me something that with which I can share you your email address or something. I'll share you the links with which you can learn the Web3.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Anyone from third year want to ask some question? First year student, any energetic question? If anyone is interested in some, anyone? First year, anyone? No one is interested.
Sir,
Yes, Pratik. Yes.
sir, in upcoming 2-3 years, which field is go to like for IT jobs?
Sorry.
He's asking for what will be the coming 2-3 years. What will be the future openings? Which technology will be booming?
Okay.
As per you, yeah.
As per my understanding, in the future, in 2-3 years, nothing is going to be changed. So definitely there will be openings for PHP, Python, Java, TypeScript, Angular, React. So these things, this Web3 blockchain and all these things is gonna take its time to evolve, evolve in the current world that we current era, because till now not all the companies or all the application, it is not possible to convert all the application within a year into the blockchain or into the Web3 technology, right? So definitely there will be a 100% there will be openings for Java developers, PHP developers, or Angular developer. But I suggest TypeScript. Learning the TypeScript is actually the there are different terms: min stack developer, merge stack developers. So having understanding of what is this min stack or merge stack is a good advantage, or full stack developer. So in a full stack developer roadmap, you must have to have understanding of at least one backend technology, one front end technology. So backend technology, if it comes to the backend technology, definitely Java, PHP. After that, Node.js, .NET, you can consider as a backend technology. And when it comes to the front end, you have React.js, Next.js, Vue.js, AngularJS, or Vanilla.js. So there are many forms so that you can use or you can learn. And definitely there are n number of jobs available in the market for the backend Java developer or front end TypeScript developer. Definitely that is ruling the market now.
Okay.
So can you refer something that we can update ourselves, like what is going in market, something like that?
Okay, there is okay. There is no such thing that you can refer and you can there is not a single portal over a web where you can go and learn what are the emerging things or what are the different ways with which you can learn the new steps. Means you need to go through the web. You need to search for the terminologies that you understand. Means you need to continuously keep on learning. Means for an example, as now I have told about the blockchains today. If you go over the web and if you search about the blockchain, definitely you want to find about the DLT, which is related to the blockchain. After that, you want to find about the Web3. Then you want to find about the Metaverse. So that's how you learn actually. So learning is not it's not like at one portal you will see all the information. It's like continuously going through. Means over Wikipedia, if you'll search for something, definitely you will see some links in between. For an example, if you are searching for a Bhagat Singh's autobiography over Wikipedia, then definitely you will come across a John Sanders, or you will come across a Chandrasekhar Azad. So you have to go in that links and you have to read that information. So that's how it is. These things are interconnected. Once you start finding for the blockchain, you will definitely land up till the Metaverse, because that all things are interconnected.
Yes, good. I think everyone has. You have very excellently. You have answered the huge domain, because micro and macro level information, what is trending in the market, Aniket, you have done with a very short span of experience, but you have gained a huge knowledge. We do appreciate. Now, the last part of this session, I just want to have the vote of thanks of the event which we have covered here. So on behalf of IBMRD, I am giving the vote of thanks to our star alumni, Aniket, who spared his valuable time and make the presence for today's first webinar on recent trends in IT. And he has, I think he has spared, and he has, it was an eye opener for a student in a micro and macro level also. So what all opportunities are there in the coming trends in upcoming 5 or 10 years? You have already speak about the decade, I think so. So the people who are the student year, the first year, second year, or third year, this student need to understand the gravity of what is the future. And To make this event successful, I think we need to thank the Honorable Director, because under his initiative, we are planning to have a webinars like this from experts from the Star Alumni from IBMRD. Thanks to the Director, Dr. Sanjay Dharmadhikari sir. I would also like to thank our teacher, teaching and non-teaching staff of IBMRD, and especially the Department of MCA, faculties who have working for the what you call as growth and the eye openers for the students. And we are again expecting that the base of alumni under the guidance of Poddar ma'am, the head of department, the alumni association will be encashing some new events in the upcoming days, and that will be helpful for the students of the current batches also. I would like to say thanks to the students who forcefully or directly or indirectly been participating in this event. Thanks to all, thanks to Aniket for your valuable time and for your knowledge also. So I think I request all the students that we have shared some feedback link into the chat box. You go through that link, you give your feedback. We will be sharing the feedback with you, Aniket, because we have started with you. Okay, and we are expecting that some we are expecting some expertise in future days also from you to the students. Okay, currently we are doing virtually, but if time permits in upcoming days, we are expecting you physically. You should visit a campus. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you a lot, all the teacher staff and the directors, especially Poddar ma'am for inviting me to give a lecture on this emerging trends in the IT. To frankly say, I'm not a person who was definitely to give you a background. I was an average student like you. I failed 3 years. I wasted 3 years of my life. I failed in 12th. I had a 17%. Definitely, I had a 17%, 17%. But it doesn't come into the picture when you start learning for something, and that's for sure. Because Miss Ma'am will say definitely that I was a backbencher. I used to sit at a backbench only, and I was a very naughty person. I was not fully focused. But when I went to the market to find a job for myself, that time I realized how the world is and where do we stand. So to make you one of the people that are driving the workforce, you need to learn a lot, and the learning starts with the college. So
I like to add something, Aniket. Aniket, you have every time you have participated in each and every event which was being covered. We have conducted a lot many seminars and sessions, and you have actively participated. So your participation shows that you are interested, you are focused on your career. That's why you are at this situation. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Though you are backbenchers, everyone like to sit on a backbenchers because people like to be not a hero, like to be a side hero. But becoming a hero, it requires some patience and some knowledge. Learning plays very important role. And I think so the students here will take learning as their first intention.
Truly.
Thank you, Aniket. Thank you. Thank you all. All students give a feedback. We'll be sharing with Aniket.
I agree, sir. And all the best, Aniket, for your future.
Thank you. Thank you. Wish you all the best, Aniket.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll go for conclude that. So I think we'll declare that this webinar is being closed now.
Yes.
Thank you, Aniket.
Good
Thank
day.
you very
Good
much.
day, everyone.